For the last 10 years I've worked at a company that most people in my field would kill to get into. It's a name you'd recognize, but for obvious reasons I'm not going to say it. I started at the bottom, doing the grunt work nobody else wanted, and slowly worked my way up until I was leading a small team. It wasn't glamorous, but I felt proud of it. I thought of myself as steady, reliable, the kind of guy who held everything together even if I wasn't the loudest voice in the room. My boss used to tell me I was dependable. Not flashy, not the star of the show, but someone he could count on. I didn't think of that as an insult. I grew up in a family where just showing up every day mattered. My dad worked 35 years in the same factory until it closed, and he always said loyalty was the most important thing a man could give to a company. I guess I believed him. So I became that guy. The one who stayed late when everyone else left. The one who fixed the reports after the higher-ups messed them up. The one who trained new hires, sometimes without even being asked. When people had problems, they came to me because they knew I wouldn't make them feel stupid. I thought that kind of consistency meant I was safe. Then out of nowhere, earlier this year, the company announced a restructuring. You can probably guess what that means. Fancy word for cuts. I didn't panic at first because I figured they'd keep the people who knew how to keep the place running. But when my turn came, the HR rep looked me straight in the face and said, "Your role has been deemed redundant." Redundant. Like I was some extra part they could toss aside. I don't know if you've ever had a word cut into you like a knife, but that one did. I sat there stunned, trying to process what she meant. I wanted to say, how am I redundant when I've been the one cleaning up everyone else's mess for a decade? But instead I just nodded and signed the papers because that's the kind of employee I had always been. Cooperative to the end. They gave me a severance package that looked decent on paper, but I couldn't shake the humiliation. I told my wife that night, and she tried to comfort me, saying I'd land on my feet, but I could see in her eyes she was scared too. We had just refinanced our house. Our oldest is about to start college. I had always been the provider, and suddenly I was the guy who got labeled unnecessary. Here's where it gets strange. A couple weeks later, I get a call from a regulatory agency. They said they were reviewing some of the company's filings and noticed my name had been on a lot of the compliance reports. They wanted to talk to me. At first I thought it was some kind of scam, but after checking it out, I realized it was real. So I agreed to an interview. I figured I'd just answer a few questions and be done. But then the investigator asked me one question that changed everything. She said, "Who actually prepared these reports? Because the signatures don't match the timestamps." And in that moment, everything clicked. I remembered all the times my boss would dump things on me last minute. The nights I stayed up fixing reports after they'd already been filed incorrectly. The way people higher up would send me spreadsheets and say, "Just make this look right." I realized they had been leaning on me to cover their tracks for years, and I never even thought twice about it. I told the investigator the truth, that I was the one who had prepared and corrected most of those reports, that my name might not always appear on the final version because my boss liked to take credit, that I had emails and saved drafts to prove it. She just nodded and kept writing. After that, I started getting more calls, more questions. At first I felt nervous, like maybe I had done something wrong. But the more I talked, the more I realized the investigators already suspected the truth. My old company had been cutting corners for a long time, and I had unknowingly been the safety net. They let me go because they thought I was invisible. But now the regulators were seeing exactly how visible I had been all along. I can't share the details of the ongoing investigation, but I will say this. My old boss is suddenly not answering calls, and people I used to work with are whispering about subpoenas. The irony isn't lost on me. They called me redundant, but the second I was gone, everything fell apart because nobody else knew how to keep things straight. I wish I could tell you that I feel vindicated, but mostly I just feel tired. I gave them so much of myself, and for what? To be tossed out like garbage and then dragged back in when they needed someone to point fingers at. My wife keeps telling me this might actually open doors for me, that maybe the regulators will see my integrity and I'll land somewhere better. Maybe she's right. But right now I just feel hollow. The weirdest part is how quiet my life has become. For years my phone buzzed constantly with people needing help. Now I wake up and there's nothing. No urgent emails. No last-minute panics. At first it felt like freedom, but now it feels like I don't matter. Like maybe they were right. Maybe I really am redundant. I'm writing this because I don't know how else to get it off my chest. I know some people will say I should be glad I'm out, that I dodged a bullet. Maybe that's true. But I can't shake the anger. 10 years of loyalty, and they reduced me to a line on a spreadsheet. Then when the truth started to come out, it wasn't because anyone defended me. It was because some regulator asked one question. That's all it took to reveal that I wasn't redundant at all. I was the glue. I don't know what comes next. Maybe I'll get dragged deeper into this investigation. Maybe I'll never work in my field again because my name is tied to all this mess. Or maybe, just maybe, someone out there will see that I was the one keeping things honest. I want to believe that matters. For now, I'm just sitting with the anger and the emptiness. They called me redundant. But if I really was, then why did everything collapse the second I was gone?